Good morning, everybody. Welcome. How you doing? Just a couple things that I want to remind you. The new Discord server that GunFox61 has been so kind to help me set up is open and running. We'll have links in the chat. GunFox will throw a couple of those in there, and then I'll have my my cloud bot start doing it probably tomorrow after I set that up. And we got so much news that it's FTG Thursday, but I don't even know. I have so many tabs open, so many things to get through that we'll just have to play the FTG game by ear. But I'm so glad you're here this morning on this wonderful Thursday. Let's play the intro and we'll get into this. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, Dawg Knight. And stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I am your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet. Welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel. It is the 22nd of October, 2020, the year that just keeps getting better and better and better. Anyway, I'm so happy that you're here. There is so much going on, but we had a press conference yesterday at the FBI, and we're finding out that there has been, there's more election interference going on, and the usual suspects, or at least the usual scapegoats, the Russians are involved, and apparently the Iranians are involved, and weird how they never mentioned the Chinese, but I'm sure they're involved too. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, and it's not exactly what you think, and it's kind of it's really kind of something that we talked about yesterday, and that we saw happening in Kansas. Well, there's a similar thing going on, but this was an email thing. We'll get into that. A whole bunch of Hunter Biden news too. I see Joe Stabbing Joe says Hunter. Yes, there's Hunter Biden news. There's all kinds of stuff, free speech news, and just the impending Civil War news. It's just amazing. But first, as always, I'm going to say good morning to everyone who's in the chat. We've already got, we got 30 people in the room already. That's awesome. Good morning to Maddie, who was here first and gets the bell. Yes, the sound effects are working again. Sorry, Sean. I know, but I like them, and I'm going to keep using them. Also, good morning to my friend Becca Fairley. Maddie and Becca were early in tweeting out the show this morning. In fact, they beat me to it because I forgot to do it until right up until the show started. So thank you two for remembering, and I eventually did it. Also, good morning too. Hang on a second. Sorry, guys. Did I do this one? Yes, I did. All right, I can close that window. Good morning to Keenan, who's here early. Nice to see you. Dharma Poodle. I always say Poodle. Dharma Poozle, what's happening? GunFox61, who's lurking at work. There is a ton of news in the Discord server, and if I remember, I'll make sure I do that. Pete, what's up, man? Pete is back. How you doing? I was setting up, and I had the standby video going. I said, see, you said something nice about the footage. Yeah, that's some footage I took myself, and we were in the North Shore of Lake Superior. That's my waterfall footage. I have a separate video on the channel. That's that same video. It's just a preview of what I'm putting together from our trip, so I'll have that out hopefully early next week. I got a couple other videos I got to work on that are personal videos for our family that I got to do. Anyway, good morning, Select a Boy. Oh, I moved that. Select a Boy is now right there. Boy. Good morning, sir. Also, good morning to Advocatus Diabli, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
DI Freighter Watchers, Grillin' Pirate Pete. That's the other Pete, not that Pete, but this Pete. There's two Petes. One's Pete and one's Grillin' Pirate Pete. This Pirate Pete. Did I get that explained well enough? Good morning to Tarai Deos. Nice to see you again. James PFP. Good morning, chat and Dawg Knight. Yes, good morning to you too. Also, let's see. Oh, Purple Pill Perspective, Renee Mayette, Johnny Hellcat, the first ever watcher of the Morning Night Live, Moonbase Radio, Molly Mags, Jedi Ghost Bear. Am I getting there? Moonbase Security, good morning. Oh, I got Moonbase Radio and Moonbase Security. Oh, well, Scribe must be sending all his employees down to the Morning Night Live. Fantastic. I like to hear it. Also, good morning to Not Provided. Not provided. That means oh wait, there's another one. Hard disk fails here. Oh, I must have skipped over a bunch. Jim Beam, what's happening? Stuttering Joe Scarborough. Stabbing Joe Scarborough, who always keeps his knives nice and clean and sharp and ready for action. So if I missed you, I'll catch up in the chat eventually here. Also, just remember, share the stream. Either through the arrow down there, Twitter, Minds and Gab up here. I can't. there. Right there, Twitter, Minds and Gab, and Parler if you want to follow me on those platforms. And then you can also do super chats through YouTube or through Streamlabs. The Streamlab Superstar Donor of the Day will post on the top of the window there, which I haven't. Oh, that's here. Let me just fix that. That's not bad. All right. So let's get into some news. So the big news yesterday, really, what's fascinating is I'm not hearing the pundits talk about it as much as I expected, because the director of the FBI came out yesterday. Oh, the Senate Judiciary Committee approves. Oh, they've already done it. Okay, just breaking news, the Senate Judiciary Committee has already approved Amy Coney Barrett to advance to the full Senate. I don't know. There were some rumblings yesterday. Hello, Smarty Bear, Cynical Lindsay, John Smith. Say hi to Elizabeth for me. There were some rumblings that some of the Democrats on the committee were going to boycott it, and the Republicans, Lindsey Graham said, hey, we're not playing any freaking games. We're voting on it. We're going to send it to the full Senate, and we're not messing around. Stop that nonsense. So apparently they've already done it. I didn't get to see the whole thing. That didn't take long. So good. Now they're working on, I think they're talking about the stimulus package now and whatever. Anyway, but the bigger news yesterday that seemingly the media's not seemingly as excited about is this press conference. The director of the FBI came out and made an announcement, and then the director of national intelligence came out and made a comment. Oh, we do have our first donation of the day via Streamlabs from Cryptic, who is...
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar Donor of the Day.
Thank you, Cryptic, for the first $5 of the day, who says... I got a feeling this is an Asian joke. Cryptic says, Chinese takeout, $15. Gas to get there, $1.50. Getting home to find they've forgotten one of your dishes, riceless. Cryptic with our first funny of the day. Thank you, Cryptic, for the $5. You are greatly appreciated, and thank you for being here at the Morning Night Live. All right. Okay, so apparently there's this bomb. It's a bombshell. It's a different kind of bombshell because it's not a TDBS, but just a regular bombshell that doesn't have the Democrats happy. I ran so far away. Sorry. Iran interfered in the U.S. election to damage Trump. Now that's something we hadn't heard yet. They're doing it to damage Trump. And apparently, well, here we go. By posing as right-wing group and threatening Democrats, feds say. Director of National Intelligence John Radcliffe confirmed on Wednesday evening that the Islamic Republic of Iran, the world's leading state sponsor of terrorism, interfered in the U.S. elections to damage President Donald Trump by sending threatening emails to Democrat voters while posing as a right-wing group. The U.S. government has concluded that Iran was behind a series of threatening emails arriving this week in the inboxes of Democratic voters, the Washington Post reported. The emails claimed to be from the Proud Boys, a far right-wing group supportive of President Trump, but appeared instead to be a deceptive campaign of making use of the vulnerability in the organization's online network. Now, here's what's fascinating, because there was a report also earlier yesterday that both Russia and Iran had been able to acquire voter databases. Not sure how they did that. And what's funny about this, or not, I wouldn't say funny, but the letters. Remember the letters yesterday? If you were here yesterday, you heard about the letters that people are actually distributing to homes in Kansas. Now, these were emails that supposedly were from the Proud Boys and sent to Democratic voters, but these were actually leaflets put on people's homes in Kansas. And now there's also a case, I believe, in New Hampshire, where the same letters were being distributed by hand, not by emails. People are actually walking around putting this shit on doors. So I think I have a tendency to give a little more credibility if someone's actually walking to your door rather than, spamming you with email. Because, I know there's a couple of my fellow Nigerian princes that have sent you an email here or there in the past, 20 years or so, which I have nothing to do with. Thank you. Anyway, yes, Lindsay, the Lincoln Project, we're so happy to peddle that nonsense. And they, in the process of getting erased, they deleted their tweets. But so anyway, at a press conference, Radcliffe said that intelligence officials have discovered that Iran and Russia have obtained some voter registration information, and that officials have already seen Iran sending spoofed emails designed to intimidate voters, incite social unrest, and damage President Trump. You may have seen some reporting on this in the last 24 hours, and you may have even been one of the recipients of those emails, Radcliffe said. Additionally, Iran is distributing other contents to include a video that implies that individuals could cast fraudulent ballots, even from overseas. This video and any claims about such allegedly fraudulent ballots are not true. These actions are desperate attempts by desperate adversaries. Even if the adversaries pursue further attempts to intimidate or attempt to undermine voter confidence, you know that our election systems are resilient and that you can be confident your votes are secure unless you mail them in some states where you can tell where they're coming from, Republicans or Democrats. But I digress. Radcliffe said intelligence officials have not seen the same actions from Russia, but noted that they are prepared to take action if Russia takes malicious action. So the emails were almost identical to those leaflets that were being handed out in Kansas and now New Hampshire, saying that we've got you in our database. We know where you live. But here's the thing. So because the media and Democrats, I know, redundant, are just so thirsty for nastiness from Trump voters. And also because they want so badly to demonize the Proud Boys, because, Joe Biden brought the Proud Boys up in that last debate. And so, there's all this interest in the Proud Boys being these right-wing, violent, militant group, which actually, they're not. Racist, too. I'm sorry. Did I mention racist? Racist. Okay, there's going to be a bell sometime. I keep forgetting that this doesn't always work. Anyway, that they'll believe anything of this nature. I wonder, in fact, let's see. I got to see here. I had that. Oh, wow. There's another one. That took me by surprise. Thank you to Johnny Hellcat with the 223, who says, quote, I can confirm I have at no time received any emails from Dawg Knight requesting my or my relatives' bank information. Well, see, there you go. I mean, none of my relatives do that shit. Good morning, Chrome. Good morning, Katie did skate. How you doing? Yeah, thank you, Johnny Hellcat. Thank you for standing up for me. I really greatly appreciate that. You're not going to get any of the 401 is it 401 or 4? I can't. There's a name for it. I think it's the 419 scam. It's called a 419 because it's from section 419 of the U.S. Code that that covers that type of scam. It's called the 419, where yeah, I tried to get out of here, and I somehow my inheritance is stuck in Nigeria. And if you can give me your bank, just give me, if you can wire me, $1,000 or whatever, I can. You can help me get it out, and I'll give you 10% of the $25.5 million that my inheritance that the government is keeping there for me. So anyway, thank you, Johnny Hellcat, for having my back. All right. So back on this story. Oh, so these letters, by the way, the letters, and it's hilarious. These emails. Oh, I was going to try to see if I can find the Lincoln Project. Hey, Lindsay, if you happen to have any link to any of those Lincoln Project emails, that would be fantastic, because I did not bookmark that, I don't think, which I really should have. Really should have. So anyway, the Lincoln Project. Oh, yes, I did. Here we go. I have it right here. So here, the clowns at the Lincoln Project deleted this. So here's the Lincoln Project. The Proud Boys are attempting to scare voters away from the polls. This is punishable by up to a year in jail and a blatant attempt to prevent people from voting. Let's find them and make them famous. Let's make the Lincoln Project. Well, the Lincoln Project idiots are already famous, but they're certainly killing their brand. Threatening emails telling voters to vote for Trump target Brevard County residents. What's hilarious is the letters that were supposedly from the Proud Boys. They say they are the Proud Boys in the letter. Like, oh yeah, see, if I'm going to send an intimidating, threatening letter to somebody, now, not that I would, but if I were in that, had that capacity to have that mindset that I'm going to threaten somebody, I'm going to send them a threatening letter. Do you think you're going to put your own damn name on it? I mean, it was almost like, hey, you better vote for Trump or we're going to come and get you. Signed, the Proud Boys. Because that's, it's just silly. It's just freaking silly. Anyway, so let's see. This was a thread, actually. Here's so basically the Lincoln Project just fell for Iranian propaganda, and they did actually delete it, which is hilarious. The fact that all the QTs disappear from clicking on the QTs listed off the actual tweet, doubt they disappear from feeds. When a tweet gets deleted, some extra BS. Anyway, I don't know what that means. So anyway, the Lincoln Project, they're boneheads. But here's what they did in New Hampshire. So like I said, we saw this in Kansas. Now, physical letters being taken to people's houses, that's a little bit different. That's actually someone on the ground doing that, saying, "Good morning, Blind Press. How you doing, my dear?" So here's in New Hampshire, someone sending letters to Trump supporters in New Hampshire threatening to burn down their homes if President Trump loses the presidential election, but will not concede defeat. The same letters were handed out in Kansas. As WMUR reported, the letter, which Milford police stated has been sent to various homes in the town displaying support for the president, stated, quote, "Dear neighbor, you've been identified by our group as being a Trump supporter. Your address has been added to our database as a target. When we attack, should Trump not concede the election, we recommend that you check your home insurance policy and make sure that it is current and that it has adequate cover for fire damage. You have been given fair warning. Always remember, it was you that started the Civil War. Be prepared to face the severe consequences of your preemptive actions on democracy." Now, they're the same. That's the exact same letter that was being sent to people in Kansas. And it makes me wonder if this too could be a part of this disinformation campaign, the Russian or Iranian or Chinese trolling. But again, it's very different than getting an email. If this is on your doorstep, you gotta. Now this says some of them were mailed, I think. Let's see. Well, this one says that it has been sent to various homes in the town displaying support for the president. So they actually had to physically go out and find homes with Trump signs in them. So that's very different. That's very different. Anyway, Brookline Police Chief Bill Quigley confirmed that 2 Trump supporters in his town also received the letter. I was kind of shocked that anyone would send a letter of that type of threat, he admitted. Quigley said that he alerted the U.S. Postal Inspection Service, adding that the perpetrator could be charged with a serious crime. He explained, not only with us, with criminal threatening. It's on a felony level because of the threat of burning homes down and causing injury, but it could also be with the postal inspectors, something on a federal level. Yes, because that's when you use the mail for shit like that, now you're breaking federal law. And so, kind of like those idiots in Seattle who, when they deputized the sheriff's deputies to U.S. Marshals, now when you harm those deputies, you're also harming U.S. Marshals, which turns it into a federal crime. All right, now let's move. Let's keep going here. So anyway, that the DHS and FBI both had dueling press conferences talking about that. Let's get into a little Hunter Biden action, so to speak. Not literally. I'm not interested in getting into any kind of Hunter Biden action. Good morning, Amy in Connecticut. How are you? Good morning to the gayest person on YouTube. 2 different people. Nice to see you back. TGPOY. Can I just call you the Guppy? I don't know why. I've never thought of that before. And also, Amy, I hope you had a lovely birthday yesterday. All right. Tell you what, before we get into Hunter, let's do a little commercial break here because I need to sip some of my. Oh, by the way, I do have my cup of reparations coffee today. I have the 2016 Sweet Meteor of Death cup. That is the cup I used or bought after I voted for the Sweet Meteor of Death. The choices in 2016 were Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, or an extinction level asteroid impact. Now do I regret my vote in 2016? I did vote for the Sweet Meteor of Death. I'm definitely not doing that this year, but anyway, I got a nice cup. I got a nice cup out of the deal. There you go. All right, I'll be back right after my commercial, which unfortunately you cannot skip. Hey everybody, it's me, Marty. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I hope you're enjoying the show. The Morning Night Live is sponsored by you, the viewers of the Morning Night Live. Please, if you have a moment, take time to share this stream by hitting that little arrow down below or up here if you're on a mobile. And please hit the like button. I know you like it, you're still here and you're still watching. And finally, if you want to support the show, you can do that through your donations and super chats, which are in the description down below. You can do that at Streamlabs link or at pdognight.live. That every little bit helps. And thank you for watching. Now back to the show. All right, and welcome back. Hey, I see a couple other people jumped in. Good morning to Tyler F. MC's in the house. Why the hell are my sound effects not working? I know it was working yesterday. Well, you're going to hear that Hammer Time show up. And also, good morning to Failure B. Nice to see you. So let's talk a little bit about Hammer Time. Hunter Biden. that was unfortunate, but it was kind of funny. So more news regarding Hunter Biden. So, a lot of people are trying to run interference and don't want to hear about the story, but unfortunately, The drip is starting to turn into a regular stream. Good morning, Jesse Leon. And Lindsay. Did I say hi to Lindsay? I think I did. So Hunter Biden's business partner confirms email and details of Joe Biden's push to make millions in China or from China. One of Joe Biden's ways of contrasting himself with President Trump has been to declare an election battle of Park Avenue values versus Scranton, Pennsylvania values. Now we learn that Biden was secretly playing footsie with China. The statement Wednesday night asserting that former vice president was a willing and eager participant in a family scheme to make millions of dollars by partnering with a shady Chinese communist firm is a singular event in a presidential race already overflowing with drama and intrigue. The dynamic assertion, believable. Oh, hang on. Thank you, Johnny Hellcat, who now via YouTube super chat threw in another couple bucks. Thank you. Timely. Nice. Yes, that was, I don't know why my things are delaying. There's the bell, and there's a nice little round of applause for Johnny Hellcat. Thank you, sir. The dynamic assertion, hang on a second. The statement Wednesday night asserting that former vice president was a willing and eager participant in a family scheme to make millions of dollars by partnering with the shady Chinese communist firm is a singular event in a presidential race already overflowing with drama and intrigue. The dynamic dynamite, like Kid Dynamite. The dynamite assertion, believable because it aligns with earlier information we know to be true, came in a statement by Tony Bobulinski, who describes himself as a former partner of Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, and Joe's brother Jim in the China scheme. Bobulinski unloads his bill of accusations in blunt but precise language and detail. He confirms that he was one of the recipients of the May 2013-2017 email published by the Post 8 days ago. That email from another partner in the group laid out cash and equity positions, and the mystery included a 10% set aside for the quote, the big guy, end quote. Sources have said the big guy was Joe Biden. In a matter-of-fact manner, Bobulinski states that the email is genuine and that the former vice president and the man leading in the 2020 race is indeed the big guy. Hello, Thomas Cleaver. How you doing? That claim alone rips out the heart of nearly everything Joe Biden has ever said about Hunter's many businesses and Joe's knowledge of them. His repeated insistence that the two never spoke of the son's global sources of money didn't pass the laugh test anyway. After all, they traveled together to China on Air Force Two, where Hunter landed a $1.5 billion with a B commitment from the government-controlled Chinese bank. Then there was Hunter's $83,000 a month gig on the board of a Ukrainian energy company, despite his lack of experience in Ukraine or knowledge of energy. It was no coincidence that the vice president was the Obama administration's point man in both countries. Wherever Joe went, Hunter went along, no, not to do good, but to do well. Very well. There were similarly lucrative deals in Russia, Romania. Remember we talked about Romania yesterday? I told you. Romania and Kazakhstan. Is that how you say that? Kazakhstan. Anyway, that we know. Now, because his role in the China deal had been credibly confirmed, it's beyond dispute that Joe didn't know what was going on. It's beyond dispute that Joe didn't just know what was going on. At least in this case, Joe was a player, and had his hand out. To that point, perhaps the most devastating paragraph in the 689-word statement, Bobulinski writes that Hunter Biden also referred to his father as my chairman and frequently referenced asking him for his sign-off or advice on various potential deals that we were discussing. seems like he had a bigger role than perhaps he's been hinting at. Quote, I've seen the Vice President Biden saying he never talked to Hunter about his business, says Bobulinski, who is the CEO of the company being formed. I've seen firsthand that that's not true because it wasn't just Hunter's business. They said they were putting the Biden family name and its legacy on the line. That's a remarkable line, once suggestive of the idea that the plan was always to sell Joe Biden's fame and influence. In effect, Hunter and sometimes Joe's brother Jim were turning the office of the vice president of the United States into a pot of gold for themselves. You know, didn't his brother also have some legal troubles because of his kind of weird and just fabulous connections of things that he was doing in his life that somehow just the Biden name would just put him there? I don't know. Good morning, Bear Cock. It's always good to see Bear Cock in the chat. Let's not show us anyone's little Avenatti though. Anyway, and let's see. Where was I? Anyway, I'm not going to read the rest of that. If you want, I'm going to start posting these in both the chat and I'll post them in the Discord. By the way, Gunfox, if you'd be so kind, if you have a moment, to put the link to the Discord server in the chat. I'll have the bot doing that starting tomorrow. Okay, so a little more detail. Here's the Breitbart version of that same article. Probably not a whole lot of different information, except we'll find out. So this is the Biden insider claims he was a recipient of the email, says he witnessed Joe Hunter discussing deals. A whistleblower CEO and Biden insider Toby Bobulinski released a public statement on Wednesday evening backing up the reporting of the New York Post from last week and claiming that he personally witnessed Democrat presidential nominee and former Vice President Joe Biden discussing business deals with his son, Hunter Biden. Thank you, Gun Fox. Sources familiar with by the way, the Discord link, I really only want to disseminate that through the chat of my live streams. And if people want to join it, I don't care. It's open joining. I'm not doing approvals, but we just want to make sure that we promote it here and not necessarily disseminate it out in the ethosphere. Ethosphere? What is it? Ether? Whatever I'm trying to say. So anyway. Let's see. All right. Sources familiar with the matter. Okay, I don't care. I hate that line. That's kind of a New York Times line. Anyway, sources familiar with the matter told Breitbart News that Bobulinski is the person whose allegations and inside information are the centerpiece of a forthcoming investigation by the Wall Street Journal. Oh my gosh, I shouldn't say real journalists, but it's breaking that wall of the people who are protecting Joe Biden. This looks like some other people are starting to investigate this stuff. So we'll find out if Bobulinski is the real deal. We'll find out, I guess. That Wall Street Journal story has not been published yet. Several days after the newspaper staff indicated to some the piece would come out. It is unclear why the journal has not yet published. Oh, are they sitting on the story, maybe? But President Donald Trump hinted on a conference call earlier this week that such a story was coming from the newspaper. Well, did they tip off the president too? That's interesting because the Wall Street Journal is, I can't say they've been friendly or unfriendly to the president. It's really hard to tell. It just depends on who the writers are. Anyway, Bobulinski's statement also seemingly authenticates at least one of the bombshell emails obtained by the New York Post, purportedly from Hunter Biden's laptop retrieved from a computer repair store in Delaware. Anyway, yeah, nobody cares. We know that. So Bobulinski said in a press statement he released Wednesday night, quote, "My name is Toby Bobulinski. The facts set forth below are true and accurate. They are not any form of domestic or foreign disinformation. Any suggestion to the contrary is false and offensive."
How dare you?
I am the recipient of the email published 7 days ago by the New York Post, which showed a copy to Hunter Biden and Rob Walker. That email is genuine. And then here's some other excerpts. The email includes a note that Hunter has some office expectations. He will elaborate. A proposed equity split references 20 for H, 10 held by H for the big guy with no further details. He confirms that it's the big guy is Joe Biden. We already learned that. And then also, let's see, Bob Alinsky's statement would be the first on-record confirmation of this from a source in the Biden universe, Bob Alinsky said. What I am outlining is fact. I know it is fact because I lived it. I am the CEO of Sinohawk Holdings, which was a partnership between the Chinese operation through CEFC Chairman Yi and the Biden family. I was brought into the company to be the CEO by James Gillier and Hunter Biden. The reference to the big guy in the much publicized May 13, 2017 email is in fact a reference to Joe Biden. The other JB reference in that email is Jim Biden, Joe's brother. So, and then there's Facebook and the media what should I call them? They're like the media has a wall around, like, you know how we're building the wall on the southern border? Well, the media has a wall on any negative news for Joe Biden. Down farther here in the article, the email was one of many that the New York Post published from Hunter Biden's laptop. Others include emails where Hunter Biden described getting a meeting for Ukrainian natural gas company, Burisma executives, with his father during his time as vice president. The emails have rocked the presidential campaign in the final weeks of the race, and Biden has called them a smear campaign against him.
Come on, man.
Twitter and Facebook, when the New York Post first published the email, censored the content. Twitter originally, following Facebook's lead, censored links to the original post stories as unsafe, but later reversed course after backlash. And the New York Post has been locked out of its Twitter account for several days since the story published. In fact, I was going to check that before I go on. Let's see. Let's check New York Post. And let's see. Has the New York Post been restored yet? Here's the New York Post Twitter account. And their last tweet is still from October 14th. So they've been locked out of their account for 8 days for posting this factual story where we have corroboration now. Unbelievable that they're still locked out of its Twitter account. Facebook, meanwhile, said it was preemptively holding back traffic to the stories until its fact checkers weighed in. A rare step. And here's Andy Stone from Facebook. While I will intentionally not link the New York Post, I want to be clear that this story is eligible to be fact-checked by Facebook's third-party fact-checking partners. In the meantime, we are reducing its distribution on our platform, meaning we're the fullback for the Biden campaign. Just get out of the way. Don't try to tackle this story. The social media censorship has had mixed results. Twitter's action, according to an MIT study, actually drove more interest to the story, but Facebook's actions, according to NewsWhip data, severely limited the reach of the story to many users. In fact, my mother-in-law, who spends a lot of time on Facebook, had no idea what I was talking about when I told her about this story, and she's like, "Oh my God, I did not know." And I said, "It's true. No, it can't be true. I didn't see it on Facebook." No, she didn't say that. But anyway, even so, nobody from Biden's campaign has challenged the authenticity, even as some Democrats, such as Chairman of the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, Representative Adam Pencilneck Schiff, have claimed they represent Russian interference in the U.S. presidential election. The FBI, Department of Justice, and intelligence community, however, have refuted those claims, with Director of National Intelligence John Radcliffe stating unequivocally that they are not Russian interference. That's all I needed to know, and I think we already knew that. All right, let's move on. Enough of that. Hello, Scotty W. You're not that late. Also, good morning, Kevin S. How you doing? Here's more, though. Joe Biden denies that Hunter profited off his family ties. Hunter said the exact opposite last year. Yes, we're going to take a stroll down memory lane for a moment and listen. Here's what Hunter Biden said about this. I think it's video, if I'm right here. Where is it? Here we go. This is Joe. Let's see what Joe said here.
So, Mr. Vice President, how confident are you in winning Wisconsin?
Okay, no, I don't want to hear that. Anyway, well, here, Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden said in an interview Tuesday that there was no basis whatsoever to say that his son Hunter has profited off his family name, a claim which the younger Biden contradicted in an interview last year. Remember that interview? Joe Biden was asked in an interview with Wisconsin TV station WISN about the comments from Senator Ron Johnson, who asserted in a report that Hunter Biden has, quote, profited off the Biden name, end quote, through his foreign business dealings. Asked whether there was any truth to Johnson's claim, the former vice president responded, none whatsoever. He said that Johnson, the Republican chairman of the Senate Homeland Security Committee, should be ashamed of himself. Aww. Biden also took a shot at Trump lawyer Rudy Giuliani, who had investigated Hunter Biden's overseas business dealings. Giuliani had also been behind the release of emails purported to be from Hunter Biden's laptop. This is the same garbage Rudy Giuliani, Trump's henchman, Biden began to say. It's a last-ditch effort in a desperate campaign to smear me and my committee. My committee? What? What the fuck is Joe talking about? Smear me and my committee? I probably meant family. I don't know. It's just weird. Oh, the vast of intelligence people have come out and said there's no basis at all. Really? Really? I don't think they've said that yet, Joe. I don't think they're that deep in your pocket right now. Anyway, despite Joe Biden's remark, Hunter acknowledged in an interview on October 15, 2019, that he believes he was asked to join the board of a Ukrainian energy company, Burisma Holdings, because his father was the vice president. Oh, you think? If your last name wasn't Biden, do you think you would have been asked to be on the board of Burisma? I don't know. Probably not. In retrospect, Biden said in the interview. Anyway, I don't think that there's a lot of things that would have happened in my life if my last name wasn't Biden, he said, adding, because my dad was vice president of the United States. In the immortal words of Elvis Presley, duh. All right, let's see. But wait, there's more. Did you know that it's not just Hunter and it's not just Jim. Biden's niece lobbied his White House for multi-million-dollar firms. He joked she was the only reason they worked for the U.S. government. Oh, no. Valerie Missy Owens, the niece of Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden, departed her high-profile post in the Obama administration to become a multi-million-dollar lobbyist for Coca-Cola. She lobbied a host of federal agencies, including the White House office, and saw then Vice President Biden discuss her influence while he publicly praised her company and its involvement in a lucrative Obama administration initiative. The unearthed information follows a trove of email threads and documents exposing Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, leveraging his father's name to ink lucrative lobbying and consulting contracts, often with foreign competitors, such as the Chinese Communist Party. Oh, snap. Under Joe Biden's vice presidential tenure, Owens joined the White House, serving as deputy chief. Now, look, I don't really care if she's qualified to be the deputy chief of staff at the Department of Energy from 2009 to 2011, and later chief of staff to the deputy secretary of the Department of Commerce from 2011 to 2012. More power to her. I don't really care. I'm more concerned about if her dealings and being after she left those departments, being a lobbyist for Coca-Cola and being able to lobby the White House, not only as a former person from the administration, but as a relative of the administration, then I have concerns. And probably none of that is legal or illegal. I'm sorry. But then you combine it with the 10% to big, what's they call them, the big guy and some of those deals in China and Ukraine. Then I go, oh, are you profiting off being vice president of the United States? I don't know if that's cool. And makes me worry if you're as president, are you just susceptible to the highest bidder? Anyway, just curious. I'm going to skip that one now. More, but wait, there's more. Hunter Biden associates secured White House meeting for elite group of Communist Party members. Now, how did Hunter Biden do that? How the hell did he secure White House meeting for elite group of Chinese Communist Party members? Who is this guy? He must know somebody. Oh, wait. The New York Post emails from Hunter Biden, Peter Schweitzer, and Seamus Bruner. Peter Schweitzer and Seamus Bruner have emails from Biden associates Bevan Cooney and Devin Archer. The latest batch dropped by the two men show how they managed to secure a meeting at the White House for the Chinese Entrepreneur Club. Oh, that sounds impressive. For some background, Cooney and Archer are currently in prison. But how did Hunter Biden escape prison if both his partners are in prison? I just don't know how that works. I kind of do. Okay, so Liberty Prime wants to know his location. Oh, goodness gracious. Hi, Brutus. Nice to see you. So Cooney and Archer are currently in prison. So what do they have to lose by telling the truth? After all, it seems like Biden is the only one who went unscathed. Remember we were talking about flipping and singing? We've been hearing the words, oh, they're going to flip and sing since what year? 2016? Well, finally, someone is flipping and singing. Good morning, Ronan and Chi-Town J. Cooney is currently in prison serving a sentence for his involvement in a 2016 bond fraud investigation scheme. In 2019, Cooney reached out to Schweitzer after becoming familiar with the revelations in his 2018 book, Secret Empires. Cooney explained that he believes he was the fall guy for the fraud scheme and that Archer and Hunter Biden avoided responsibility. Although Archer's in prison too. Archer, who was convicted in the case, saw a federal judge vacate his conviction, but an appellate court overturned the lower court judge's ruling, reinstating Archer's conviction in the case. Archer, Hunter Biden's longtime business partner, awaits sentencing. Cooney, their associate, who is currently serving a prison sentence on his conviction in the matter, later reestablished contact with Schweitzer through investigative journalist Matthew Tyrmand. From prison, Cooney provided Schweitzer with written authorization, his email account name, and password to his Gmail account to retrieve these emails. He authorized in writing the publication of these emails, notable because it is the first time a close associate has publicly confirmed Hunter's trading on his father's influence. This tidbit always gets lost within reports of Hunter Biden. Archer was a roommate of Christopher Hines, stepson to John Kerry at Yale. Then Archer worked on Kerry's 2004 presidential campaign. From what I could tell, only Cooney and Archer corresponded but copied Biden on the emails. For instance, on November 5th, 2011, one of Archer's business contacts forwarded him an email teasing an opportunity to gain potentially outstanding new clients by helping to arrange White House meetings for a group of Chinese executives and government officials. The group was the Chinese Entrepreneur Club, and the delegation included Chinese billionaires, Chinese Communist Party loyalists, and at least one respected diplomat from Beijing. Despite its benign name, CEC has been called the second foreign ministry for the People's Republic of China, a communist government that closely controls most businesses in its country. CEC was established in 2006 by a group of businessmen and Chinese government diplomats. So, good Lord. If I'm not going to read all this, there's a lot to read here. I'll put this one in the chat too. It just details a lot of the things that Cooney and Archer were doing that they're now flipping and singing about. It's very, very, it's very hard to keep up with it all. But anyway, all right. Have we talked enough about Hunter Biden yet? Let me get rid of this. What's this next one? I had a ton of Hunter Biden stuff. Oh, I have, let's see. Well, I'm going to keep going because even as media works to ignore this, by the way, the scandal just keeps growing and growing and growing, kind of like Jeffrey Toobin's little Avenatti. Let me know if you get tired of the Jeffrey Toobin jokes. They're probably going to keep going for about a week, just saying, and then I'll probably tone it down a little bit, tamp it down, never mind. Anyway, as acting partisans, not journalists, big media and big tech have gone all in, pretending the exploding Biden scandal just isn't really a thing. Just more Russian collusion. Well, the scandal isn't going away. In fact, it's growing by the day. Note the restraint. We've written before about how social media and online publications hype totally spurious claims of Russian collusion against President Donald Trump while immediately tamping down factually based claims against fast-aging presidential candidate Joe Biden and his son Hunter, who appear to have treated the vice presidency as a personal piggy bank. The false assertion the media used not report on growing evidence of salacious and likely criminal activity emerging from Hunter Biden's laptop was that it was unverified. Some even followed serial fabulous Representative Adam Schiff's lead in claiming the laptop and its information trove about influence peddling by the Biden family is really just Russian disinformation. Both Facebook and Twitter essentially put a stranglehold on sharing the New York Post's stunning report on Biden's influence peddling. Social media, which pretends to be objective, may soon face a day of reckoning, writes law professor, blogger, and columnist Glenn Reynolds in a column that USA Today refused to publish. They refused to publish it. You know what? They are, I'm telling you, they are running interference on this story. Would they, if this was completely on the other side of that presidential race, mainly the Trumps and the Biden or Trump's sons and stuff, do you think you'd hear about anything? You already don't hear about anything else. All we hear about is the bad things that Trump supposedly did. Every day, the TDBS comes out, the Trump Daily Bombshell. Can I get an FTG for the fuck book and Tweedledee? But we can definitely lay to rest claims that the laptop containing thousands of incriminating emails is a Russian fabrication. The laptop, well, now this one says almost certainly no. The laptop almost certainly is no fake. How do we know? Let's start with the Joe Biden campaign itself. It doesn't deny the emails from the laptop detailing deals made with foreign powers to enrich the Biden family are authentic. Quite to the contrary, Biden has refused to comment apart from angry responses to the few journalists that step out of the silo and actually ask a damn real question other than, what flavor ice cream do you have? Hello, evil Jonathan, how you doing? And I didn't even recognize the name. Okay. By the way, anyone here is new. If you're here for the first time or here for the second or third time or whatever, but you're not subscribed, subscribe, click the bell, and follow me on Twitter or one of those other things up there. Anyway, well, thank you. And yes, we have our latest donation of the day via Streamlabs from Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
Who says, I heard Jeffrey Toobin is a wiped male because he wiped away his male tears.
That's right.
How come he hasn't been Me Too'd yet? We have video evidence.
That's right.
That's wipe. Okay. Yeah. I'll talk about that because do you know there's people out there, journalists all over the place, who have been trying to defend Jeffrey Toobin? And there's some out there saying, well, who hasn't masturbated during a Zoom call? Hello. A vast majority of the country has never thought of even masturbating in the middle of a Zoom call. Okay. There's especially boomer types who don't know how to turn their camera on and off. I resemble that remark. Anyway, so back to this article here. Biden answering one of the rare questions says, I knew you'd ask it. I have no response. It's another smear campaign, Biden yelled at a CBS reporter who asked about the scandal. Right up your alley. Those are the kind of questions you always ask. Really? Really? CBS News? as in SEEBS? The CBS, one of your gatekeeping journalistic or lack of journalistic entities, the ones that hold your water. Yeah, those are the questions they always kind of try to ask. Yeah, did they ask about your son with the picture of the crack pipe or the meth pipe? Or I don't want factcheck.org telling me, oh, that is false because it was really a meth pipe. Anyway, the 90-minute town hall conducted by ABC News would have been an ideal time to clarify the growing scandal. Instead, the moderator, Democratic Party and Clinton family shield George Stephanopoulos, didn't even ask about it. Yeah, they don't want to ask about this because they don't want the question answered. Did I say that right? They don't want to ask about this because they don't want the question answered because that would be bad for Joe Biden and Democrats and the media. And I'm being extra redundant right now. So anyway, remember the next time someone rushes to defend the honor of the longtime Clinton family PR flex journalistic bona fides, he has none. As for Schiff's mendacious assertion that the Russians are behind this too, Director of National Intelligence John Radcliffe, head of all 17 major U.S. intelligence agencies, categorically denied evidence of Russian involvement. We already know that, and I don't need to read the rest of this. It's just going to tell you stuff I've already said. Moving on. By the way, here's how much coverage the media did do of this scandal over the last couple days. ABC, CBS, NBC offered Joe Biden's scandals less than 15 minutes of airtime over 2 days. ABC, NBC, and CBS dedicated less than 15 minutes combined to the latest detrimental revelations implicating Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden and his son's potentially criminal overseas business activity, according to a new study from the Media Research Center. Of the 15 total hours of news programming, the media watchdog reported the big three legacy television networks dedicated a mere 14 minutes and 15 seconds to the latest scandal surrounding the Biden family since the first bombshell report of the New York Post dropped on October 14th, the same day that their account got locked out of Twitter, and they're still locked out. 15 minutes and 14 minutes and 15 seconds. And here's, let's see, 7 days have passed since the Post published the first story on Hunter Biden's laptop expose. We still cannot access the New York Post Twitter account despite Jack's apology. Yeah, Jack even apologized to these dickheads. Or not to these, they're not dickheads, but apologized to them, and they still haven't fixed their account. It's amazing. Amazing. I was going to do one of those, Jesse Lee Peterson, amazing. I was going to do a sound effect for that yesterday, and I forgot to do it. Check your logic. What's happening, my brother? All right. Anyway, I don't need to read this one here. I'll let you, I'll put in the chat and you can read this one yourself on your own time when you have time. There you go. Moving on, FCC chairman, or FC's, so FCC chief of staff, Twitter lets Iran, oh, well, hey, we got another donation from Purple Pill Perspective. Shooting that 223 right down the range. Thank you, sir. Or madam. I don't know if you're male or female. I just say thank you. How does that sound? Who says, quote, everyone I disagree with is a Nazi, end quote, quoting an Antifa guide to political discourse as a sequel, has a sequel. Oh, I see. An Antifa guide to political discourse has a sequel. Quote, everything that damns my side is Russian disinformation, end quote. A Democratic guide to inconvenient truth. Isn't that the truth? Absolutely. And that deserves a just hearty round of applause. Good morning, Michael Hatfield. Welcome to the show. Let's see. Hang on here a second. I want to just check something real quick. Oh my gosh, we got 68 people in the box today. Nice. Hey, everybody, if all 68 of you invite a friend tomorrow and half of them show up, we'll be over 100 for the show. So invite somebody to the show tomorrow, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, and so on and so forth. Oh, by the way, before I go on, programming note, today at 2:30, I will be on Scribe Light's channel. We're going to do, he does TEDx talks. And reviews, he calls it TED Excellence. And we're going to go make fun of some TEDx talks today, or a TEDx talk. So come check me out. It's Scribe, well, if I remember, I'll put a link in my chat. I'll tell you what, check on my social medias up there. Twitter, if you're following me, Twitter, mine's Gavin Parler. And I'll put it on the Discord too. Which Gunfox is going to post the Discord server link also. So I'll put it on all those platforms so you can find it. All right, let's get back into this one. So while they've locked the New York Post out of Twitter, the Republic of Iran has been able to threaten Israel. How's that sound? FCC Chief of Staff Matthew Berry called out Twitter on Wednesday for its hypocrisy in censoring the New York Post over an article about Hunter Biden's laptop, yet it let Iran... Oh, technically, 3 viewers of you alone, me, my uncle, my mom, and I listen. Oh, well, that's fantastic. Bring the whole family. You know what? That counts. I'm telling you, that counts. Good morning, my P-Dog. I've been creeping a lot. LOL. Hope you are well. Are you well, good sir? Yes, I am. Thank you very much, Michael Hatfield. Okay, so the FCC chief of staff got all up in Twitter's business. Because they censored the New York Post over an article about Hunter Biden's laptop, yet let Iran's supreme leader tweet about wiping Israel off the map. I think that this incident has caused a lot of people to wake up and take notice. It's just an outrageous situation when Twitter allows the supreme leader of Iran to tweet about armed resistance to the state of Israel, about wiping the state of Israel off the map, essentially committing genocide. Yet the New York Post, an American newspaper founded in 1801 by Alexander What? Now, I did not even know that the New York Post was founded by Alexander Hamilton. I wonder what the cast of Hamilton thinks about this right now. Oh, wait, they're a bunch of lefties anyway. Hello, Lord Stanhope. Oh, no. Lord Stanhope, if there is one down vote, is there only one thumbs down on the thumbs up, thumbs down thing? That is Duck Dog, and he and I have an understanding. That is a curated down vote. So don't worry, it's all good. Now if there's two, then I get worried, because that means, well, I don't know what it means. Hello, Julie Coles, how are you? A few minutes ago it said 70 were watching. Well, I'm looking, my whatever this is that does this, it lags, and it doesn't show. I don't know. It doesn't really show that I was ever at 70. Oh yeah, it was 70. Some people pop in and out. That's all good. All right. back to this though. So this apparently some people are beginning to notice that Twitter is kind of they're playing favorites, but when sometimes the favorites are Iran, then you gotta worry. So an American newspaper founded in 1801 by Alexander Hamilton has been locked out of Twitter for 7 days because they posted an article about Hunter Biden. And here's this guy. He's kind of a nerdy looking dude, but here we go. Oh, this is 5 minutes long. Well, let's see what it says.
My next guest criticized Twitter for allowing Iran's supreme leader to tweet, but not the Post. The chief of staff of the FCC is Matthew Berry. He's with me now. And Matthew, good afternoon to you.
It's great to be with you, Bill.
I've got my theory. What's yours?
Well, I think it's been quite clear for years that Twitter has a viewpoint. It's a left-wing viewpoint, and it uses that viewpoint to discriminate against conservatives and conservative outlets.
All right, that's pretty simple. The FCC chair, your boss essentially, writes this: social media companies have a First Amendment right to free speech, but they do not have a First Amendment right to a special immunity denied to other media outlets such as newspapers and broadcasters. As of today, that stands, however, doesn't it, Matthew?
Well, Congress has passed a law back in the 1990s called Section 230, which gave social media companies and other websites very broad immunity from lawsuits. But there's really bipartisan concern now about whether that immunity has gone too far. And you have Democrats and Republicans in Congress calling for this to be looked into. You have my boss, Chairman Pai, calling for this to be looked into. Justice Thomas, just last week of the Supreme Court, called for this to be looked into. And you have the President and the Commerce Department calling for this to be looked into.
Good.
So I think there's a broad consensus right now that this immunity has probably been interpreted too broadly, and that they should not get special privileges that a newspaper doesn't get, or that, let's say, a cable news network doesn't get.
Yeah, you know, I just wonder how Dorsey and Zuckerberg look at this. Dorsey from Twitter and Zuckerberg from Facebook, because they...
Okay, does anyone else wonder that? I think they're like, oh yeah, we have to block the Nazis. Oh, hello, CNN sucks. How you doing? No, don't you all start doing the dislike thing. That's just between me and Duck Dog. Please don't do that. Don't. Y'all, Black Hebrew Israelite and CNN sucks. No. Just one per show. Okay, because then I'll get confused and I can't keep track of it, whether you were here that day, whether you're not that day. One per day, and that's all. All right, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can figure out what I'm talking about in the chat. All right, here we go.
They see the internal volume. They see the constant daily churn globally on stories and issues that really come and go. Maybe it lasts for an hour or 6 hours or a day perhaps, but they're banking on this coming and going yet again. Do you see it that way?
Well, I think...
Because if the Democrats are elected in this next election and they take the presidency and the Senate, it's going to get worse. It's just going to be, they're going to let it go. Nothing's going to freaking happen. Maybe a lawsuit that gets to the Supreme Court. That's another reason why I'm glad that they have a person who reads the law rather than wants to write the law on the Supreme Court, because perhaps if something happens to these media companies and they get sued, their asses get sued. Right now, I don't think they can even justify the idea that they're not publishers the way they've been censoring people. It's not, I don't remember who it was that made the great analogy, but if you own a bookstore and you're selling books in that bookstore, and someone has something in a book that is slanderous or libelous, whatever the one works that we need to do it in print, the bookstore itself cannot be sued for selling that book. Only the author and the publisher can be sued, not the bookstore, because they're not selling the book. That's what Facebook, Twitter, and all these social media sites are. They're not supposed to be writing the book. They're not supposed to be keeping track of what's in the book. They're just a place to put the book out there. Okay? And that's what Section 230 says, that they're like the bookstore. They can't be sued. But if they're the ones going in and making markups in the books, or removing books or allowing certain books to be there and not certain other books not to be there. They're now curating the information that's being given out. That is a publisher, and you can be sued as a publisher. They're playing with fire, and I think some people are getting pretty damn tired of this shit, including me. And I haven't been affected personally, but I've seen enough where I'm going, hey. Really, our First Amendment is, they're private companies. They could do whatever they want. Not under Section 230. So we'll see what happens. Good morning, Ryan Hawking. Welcome to the show. I didn't see it pop in, so now I'll say hi.
I think that this incident has really caused a lot of people to wake up and take notice.
Good!
And it's just an outrageous situation when
outrageous.
Twitter allows the supreme leader of Iran to tweet about armed resistance to the state of Israel, about wiping the state of Israel off the map, essentially committing genocide. Yet the New York Post, an American newspaper founded in 1801 by Alexander Hamilton, has been locked out of Twitter for 7 days because they posted a article about Hunter Biden.
Story.
That is outrageous. And I think the American people, and I think their elected representatives are waking up to the fact that this company, Twitter, is incredibly biased and discriminating against American conservatives.
So you're making the case then that this is one step too far then, Matthew?
Hell yeah.
I do think this is one step too far.
Good.
And I think, unfortunately, it's not an isolated incident. It's just an incident that's gotten a lot of attention. And I think, in general, Twitter and I would add Facebook are discriminating against American conservatives and tilting the playing field and not enforcing their standards in an even-handed manner.
Why would they take that risk if it's so obvious to people like you?
Because I think they have a certain viewpoint.
Because they get away with it. That's why someone needs to sue their ass. I think Nick Sandmann or Kyle Rittenhouse or anyone who's been slandered, libeled, slandered, whatever it is in writing. Hey, you're taking all this stuff about Hunter Biden off the internet because it needs to be fact checked. Oh, how'd you do when it happened to Nick Sandmann? I think Nick Sandmann should sue both of them. And then when they try to say, well, we're not a publisher, we're a platform. Oh, really? Here's 1,000 examples of where you decided that you're curating what's being published on your site. So apparently you're a publisher. Pay up, bitches.
I think Jack Dorsey himself has said that the vast majority of people that work at Twitter are left-wing.
Of course they are.
Have a
They're based in San Francisco.
The
Twitter is based in the city of San Francisco. When we were in San Francisco 2 summers ago, we drove by the Twitter headquarters. They're in San Francisco. Yeah. Duh.
That's the way they see the world.
Oh,
and
right. That's breaking news. Lindsey Graham passed a vote for them to get subpoenaed today. Good. Long overdue. Kyle does them worse than Sandmann. Either one.
That's the way they end up enforcing their rules in a very skewed and biased manner.
So then he doesn't care about people like you.
No, because they think they're immune. Linwood threatened to sue Twitter, so I think that might just happen, Dawg Knight. Yeah, it's overdue. It's overdue. Anyway, we're gonna stop listening to whoever this guy is and move on because I'm running out of time and I got a whole bunch more to get through. Let's see. Twitter allows. Oh, so I don't know if did I talk about Rudy yesterday? Okay, so the Borat was trending yesterday because. Oh, I was talking about on Lords of the Night last night. Anyway, Borat was trending yesterday because they pranked Rudy Giuliani. And I'm sure it's through editing that they made it look like he was in a compromising position. And as he's tucking his shirt back in while this is being filmed, he's laying back, tucking his shirt back in. And they made it sound like he was, jerking off to a 15-year-old. And when actually what happened was Borat's daughter, the guy, whatever his name is, his daughter, who's 24 years old, was playing as though she were interviewing Rudy Giuliani from a foreign country, and they got his mic set up in, and they put the mic through your shirt and all this stuff, and so as he removes the mic and he had his shirt untucked, he's tucking his shirt back in, and Borat runs in. No, you can't. She's only 15. She's too old for you, as a joke, and through the magic of deceptive editing, or what does they call it when Project Veritas does it? Deceptively edited video, which it's not, which Project Veritas doesn't do, but I'm sure that Sacha Baron Cohen does for his movie. Anyway, it implied that Rudy Giuliani was doing something nefarious. Well, Twitter allows Rachel Maddow and an army of leftists to spread Rudy Giuliani misinformation. Oh, is this like Russian disinformation? Oh no, it's against a Republican, so it's all good. And in another sign that big tech's rules of disinformation only run one way, Twitter failed to act on a viral message posted on its platform containing a doctored image purporting to be a text message between Rudy Giuliani and Ivanka Trump. This is a completely different one. Rachel Maddow and an army of Twitter verified leftists spread the image, which was deleted. They need editors after the student that originally tweeted it called it a parody. Oh, so Rachel Maddow and the leftists decided to retweet a parody. Hey, we got another super chat here. Thank you, Purple Pill Perspective, who says, I really enjoyed your appearance on Lords of the Night. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I was on Lords of the Night last night. It was on, whose channel was it on? It was on Ranting Monkey's channel last night. If you want to watch last night's episode, the only thing about that episode is I didn't realize when I put my new mic set up here, I have to change it for every different platform I use, and I didn't realize I hadn't changed it for StreamYard, and so my sound was terrible because it sounded like I was talking through my webcam and not the microphone. But other than that, yeah, I had fun being on the show last night. And again, this afternoon, I'm going to be on Scribe Light's channel doing one of his TED Excellence analysis, so to speak. They're kind of fun because he finds some wacky ones. So anyway, thank you, Purple Pill Perspective, for the $2 donation via YouTube Super Chat. So here we go. Rachel Maddow and an army of Twitter verified leftists spread the image, which was deleted after the student that originally tweeted it called it a parody. Early today, a student Democrat activist, Nick Roberts, claimed to have successfully fooled Rudy Giuliani. Roberts claimed that he tricked the former New York mayor into thinking texts from him were in fact from Ivanka Trump. To back up his claim, he posted a doctored picture of a text exchange between himself and Giuliani. Hours later, Roberts admitted to falsifying the picture, but that not before it had accumulated tens of thousands of shares and millions of views across Twitter. Oh, see, this is maybe Rudy Giuliani should start a lawsuit. Anyway, Nick Roberts says, I decided to delete my Rudy Giuliani parody tweet. I apologize to all who took it seriously. I was surprised by the reaction given the lack of reaction to similar parody tweets in the past. I'll make sure in the future to flag satire tweets which are not real. Oh, interesting. Robert's parody tweet was uncritically shared by MSNBC host Rachel Maddow, Politico contributing editor David Freelander, Trump-Russia expert, and the Center for American Progress's Max Bergman, and many other liberal Twitter luminaries. Despite posting misinformation that could influence an election that subsequently went viral across the platform, Roberts' account does not appear to have been penalized by the platform. Huh? Isn't that nice? Twitter has also not issued any official fact check about the matter. Yeah, they've been doing fact checks on everything lately, but he did take the post down. Or made any effort to inform users that the viral photo is false. No company spokesperson responded to Breitbart News' request for comment. This is from Emma Jo Morris. 7 days have passed since the Post published the first story on our Hunter Biden expose. We still cannot. Okay, that's the New York Post saying they can't get back into their account. Meanwhile, the New York Post, one of the first newspapers established in the United States remains locked out of its Twitter account because of legitimate reporting on the Biden family's ongoing corruption scandal. Oh my goodness. Yeah, okay, shouldn't be looking down there. Yeah, so no fact checks. Just they just took it at face value. Great. Fan fucking tastic. All right, moving on. So now remember yesterday we were talking about how the organizers are out there planning for the election. Here's another story on that. The left girds its loins for battle after the election. More than 200 leftist groups have vowed to take to the streets if Donald Trump contests the results of the November 3rd election. It's an open invitation to war because you have to figure they won't be alone in the streets if Trump loses and claims there was voter fraud. Automatically dismissing any claim that the election might have been fraudulent is anti-democratic. So these pro-democracy groups are essentially telling Trump supporters, no matter what happens, to sit down, shut up, and obey. Not going to happen. According to Newsweek, more than 200 count every vote demonstrations and counting have already been planned across the country by, quote, a group called Protect the Results, an effort launched by Stand Up America and Indivisible. Oh, good God, these names. Amid the president's ongoing attacks on mail-in voting and the electoral process. Okay, that's note the spin by Newsweek. Just FYI, Newsweek, one of the remember, let me tell you. Here's what I think of Newsweek, because they're just basically, they're kind of like the Washington Post, but without as talented of writers. And remember, Newsweek sold sometime in the past when they were a dying magazine. The entire company was sold for $1. Anyway, pointing out deficiencies in ballot security is now an attack on the electoral process. How about Democratic attacks on the integrity of the election? Making it easier to vote also makes it easier to commit fraud. Democrats know this, but are willing to accept some fraudulent votes, especially since the ballots will probably be marked for the Democrat. Our view is we can't bury our heads in the sand, said Sean Eldridge, the founder and president of Stand Up America. We have to be prepared if he were to try and undermine the election results or prematurely declare victory. I almost said a Jeffrey Toobin joke there. Define prematurely. Do you mean Trump should just keep his mouth shut until the TV news channel says he's the winner? Indivisible co-founder and campaign chief officer Sarah Dole gave a similar statement. Quote, should Trump declare victory before all the votes are counted or prevent the legitimate counting of votes, she said, we will mobilize in every corner of this country to ensure voters have the last word in November. Sounds like a threat to me. How about you? Does anyone else think that? Okay, here's our little poll, or here's our poll of the day, our little poll. Jeffrey Toobin joke. I can't get it out of my mind. If you think this is an act of intimidation or terrorism, say yes in the chat. If you think it is not an act of intimidation or terrorism, say no in the chat right now. And if you say yes, then add an FTG Sarah. FTG Sarah. FTG Sarah. Sarah. There you go. All right. How does Trump prevent the legitimate counting of votes? Nice trick if he could possibly do it, but he can't. There is no way a president can prevent the votes from being counted. What kind of idiot do they have running that outfit? Also, I assume there's a structure against Trump declaring victory before all the votes are counted applies to Biden too, right? Or the stricture, I see what you're saying. Does this apply to Biden? Can Biden declare victory prematurely? Anyway, I have no doubt that liberals will will make an effort on election day and afterwards to influence the gullible and terrorize the timid. They have a game plan and have the players. Hey, they've had practice out there burning and looting and intimidating people. A New York Magazine piece entitled "The Rioters Aren't Here to Convince You," Zach Cheney Rice defends the violence in and of itself, arguing that the Joker, who wanted to see everything burn, you might begrudge the rioters their insistence on seeing some of it burn for a few nights, but then again, you'd be missing their point. Their point is they want their way. They're little babies. Except they burn and shit down. That's the only difference. So FTG to the rioting types too. Moving on, here's another video. This is only a couple of minutes long. We'll do this one. Here's and here's the goal of these let me think of a good term. Dick bags that are planning the riots and shit. Here's just a little interview. This is just a preview.
Elections are not how we control the future of society. They're a sham.
A political revolution will happen when people start organizing outside the system.
It's up to us to
Now wait to see who that is.
That's why we say revolution. Nothing left.
The end goal is the abolishment of capitalism.
Oh, yippee.
Can you imagine a world without America? Can you imagine a world without America?
And no.
The world is a nightmare for the vast majority of humanity.
There's
Now,
no way out of this mess.
How so? The world is a nightmare for the vast majority of humanity. Really? You can't just live your life and not bother anybody else, huh? Really? Is it that bad really out there? Is it really? Or is it just something that someone's been driving into your head? I'm just curious.
Except socialism.
No way out except socialism.
Socialism is the road to communism.
It happens in the streets. It does not happen in the Senate.
We need people that are actually organizing in the streets, creating crisis for the decision makers.
To build up a whole new society. The new socialist republic in North America.
Communism is a higher stage. That's after the entire world has become socialist.
In the lead up to the revolution and shortly after, there would be resistance.
These people should be referred to as neo-Nazis, as fascists, as the legitimate scum they are.
If it's bloody, it will be the fault of the ruling class.
Oh.
Let's make the guillotine right again.
Take the same action Lincoln took and put them down.
So they can be wiped from this country.
And I bet this motherfucker can't even define fascism. I guarantee it. Hello, Jonas Pedersen. It's amazing. Hang on. I want you to. I'm going to pause where this. So this woman right here. Oh, get this out of the way. Hang on. Lisa, whatever her name is, I'm not going to read her name because it doesn't matter, and I don't want. It's irrelevant her name. But here's what she is: Antifa, Black Lives Matter, and Teachers Union organizer. Oh my God, FTG, Lisa. Teachers Union. This is someone teaching your kids. We need to get started getting serious about organizing. What are you organizing, Lisa? Why? Are you organizing helping people live better lives? Because you're not.
About organizing, and building power and building the infrastructure we need to shut down.
And
building the infrastructure we need to shut shit down, she says. Good God.
could pull apart this country, okay?
You're trying to pull apart this country, you idiot.
Only revolution! Stop thinking like Americans. Let me hear you say that. Stop thinking like Americans and start thinking about humanity.
You're not helping anybody, dude.
This is what we are fighting for. This is what we are fighting for. This is a constitution for the new socialist republic in North America.
The masses will rally behind us. We just have to have the leadership.
Don't think so.
And the will and the strength to do it.
I am a communist. I'd rather be a communist than more communist.
Capitalism sucks.
Well, then I don't know how you got them glasses. Those are some nice glasses you got wearing there, communist, that you probably wouldn't have gotten in a communist system because they wouldn't give a fuck if you could see or not. Now get back to your loom and start weaving that blanket.
Communists have always been on the right side.
Of what? Oh, and there's Van Jones. Bill Ayers, fuck that guy. That guy's the worst human on the planet. And he's one of the... Now, let me just tell you something. Because they showed Van Jones and Bill Ayers. Guess what kind of... guess who came out of that group of organizers? Guess who was part of that circle for a very long time? Oh, our former president who now lives in a 15-acre estate on Martha's Vineyard, who's a multimillionaire, our former president, remember him? He used to hang around with Van Jones and Bill Ayers. Yay. Barack Obama. Yay. Yes, those are the people we want. These are the people we want. Those are the people we want running our country. Yay. Oh, let's see. Should I have time for these? Oh, remember the guy who got punched in San Francisco? Remember this guy? I'll show you the picture here. Black guy who was doing, he wanted to, they were doing a free speech rally outside of Twitter. Just, they wanted to have a little protest Twitter shutting down accounts for just whatever things they do. And he got punched and his teeth got knocked out. Remember him? This guy right here? Okay, black guy who organized this thing, right? Well, free speech activist attacked in San Francisco now faces the same censorship he was rallying against. Free speech activist and organizer Philip Anderson was violently assaulted on Saturday at a Saturday rally against big tech censorship in San Francisco. The assailant has since been arrested and charged with a hate crime. Good! Of course, the prosecutor in San Francisco will probably drop the charges. But anyway, the event organized by Anderson's group, Team Save America, was set to be a demonstration against censorship by big tech. But Anderson says it resulted in exactly the type of speech suppression he and his group were organizing against. We were going to have a free speech rally. We weren't even going to mention Donald Trump. We weren't going to even mention a Democrat. It was just going to be big tech. That was all. And they wouldn't let us do it. And so they finally arrested the asshole who punched him, right? But Anderson says he got banned from Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter in quick succession on Sunday night, with little or no explanation. After being vocal online about being attacked, the attack he suffered at the hands of an Antifa activist who knocked out his teeth. He says it began to notice on Sunday that his Facebook had been banned for 30 days. A screenshot of the notice provided to Human Events Sites Post advertised the event that didn't follow Facebook's community standards against dangerous individuals and organizations. Oh, his organization was dangerous. But an hour later, Anderson says his Facebook page was shut down completely. Anderson showed Human Events evidence of at least one instance where a tweet of his, including a video of the assault, was shared to a Facebook account and flagged by Facebook as false information. Wow, video evidence is now false information. That had been checked by independent fact checkers. Gee, did they call him? And he said, oh, no, that didn't really happen. I just posted video evidence. I'm like, you're saying it's false information that a man hit me in the face and my teeth came out my mouth? Like, are you serious right now? Anderson said. Instagram literally banned me because the shadow ban wasn't working anymore after Antifa knocked out my teeth yesterday and everyone was coming to follow me and looking at my post. Anderson wrote on Twitter Sunday night. Instagram and Facebook are against our right to free speech and peaceful protest. Then his Twitter account was suspended shortly afterward. And they call other people fascists. I'm sorry, you're worried about Putin? When y'all are acting like Stalin? We're going to disappear this guy because we don't like what he's saying. This is insane what is happening with this shit. You know what? I should probably, at this point, here's the rest of the article I'll put in the chat. I should probably let you all know right now that if this channel goes down because I talk about this kind of stuff, I don't anticipate. I'm still pretty small. I'm still pretty far under the radar, and I'm not, my channel's not growing by leaps and bounds. So I guess I've organically grown this channel, just a couple people at a time, and I'm fine with that. But if I start ever blowing up and they start realizing that I talk about this kind of stuff and they say, oh, sorry, bye-bye, I do have a DLive channel. I do have a BitChute. I'll probably add a library and Daily Motion and all those others eventually. But I already have. If all of a sudden I disappear here, check my Twitter right away and check DLive. All the channels all are at Dawg Knight. They're all the same. So BitChute, and I don't use them that much. If I disappear, that's where I'll be. Just saying. Contact Scott Adams for an interview. I'd love to do that. But you know what? Here's the thing. While I have a fairly, I don't even know if I should say. While I have a fairly polished show and I talk pretty good and all that stuff, I'm such a small entity. I've reached out to people with large subscriber bases for things like that. Hello, Julie Coles, by the way. It's a lot of people see, oh, he is like, this guy only has like 1,000 subscribers. It's not always a benefit to them to talk to me. It would be a bigger benefit for me to talk to them. But that's a good idea. I should probably try Scott Adams. I also have I'm in talks with Bobby Eberle. He's going to come on my show one of these days. Now, Bobby Eberle's not huge either. He's just right. He's about to hit 100,000 subscribers now, but he's a GOP operative kind of guy. He's a GOP strategist. And I'd love to have him on a show. But again, he's like a big time Trump guy. And I am a Trump supporter, but Trump's not my brand. But anyway, Scott Adams would be good. I also want to have, the Hotep guys back on. Let's see, there's some other people that I've reached out to. I'd probably reach out to Styx sometime. He's a very interesting fellow, and I would love to have Styx on. There's a bunch of people I'd love to have on. Who was it? Someone said Jericho Green. I wouldn't mind seeing him on the show. There's a whole bunch out there that I'd like to talk to. Roderick Threats, who he's said he would come on the show. I just got to send him an email. I'm looking at. I'm working on the guest thing. I'm supposed to be doing them every Friday, and I've only had one, so we'll get to that. Anyway, it's amazing. This guy is having a rally, gets punched in the mouth. They're telling him it's false information. I swear to God, these tech companies have lost their freaking minds. Publisher Lynn Wood call me. I have an idea for you. All right, last couple things that we're going to get out of here because I'm actually already running late, but I'm going to give you some bonus show right now. This one, Biden campaign takes down ad after struggling bar owner revealed as a wealthy tech investor. I got to get to this one because this one's hilarious. I see some spoons in the chat. Thank you, John Connor. Be careful out there, brother. That thing's coming back to kill you. Joe Biden's presidential campaign took down an ad from its YouTube channel featuring a Michigan bar owner saying his business may fail because of President Trump's COVID-19 response, who was revealed to be a wealthy tech investor. The ad was set to private on the Biden campaign's YouTube channel sometime between Tuesday evening and Wednesday morning. The Blind Pig bar co-owner, John Malkoon, the star of the ad, also set his Twitter account to private sometime the same time frame. The ad had been hailed by California Representative Eric Swalwell as the best ad of 2020 on Monday. And here's Eric Swalwell's tweet right there. Best ad of 2020 just hit. Empty bars and live music venues equal real Donald Trump's America. Time for Joe fucking Biden, who says he would shut down the country for a full 3 months. He could. Oh my God. Anyway, so Eric Fartwell did tweet this out as the best ad of 2020, and it turned out to be bullshit. Anyway, we don't know how much longer we can survive. Oh, this is the ad. We don't know how much longer we can survive not having any revenue. A lot of restaurants and bars have been mainstays for many years will not make it through this, Malcolm said in the ad. My only hope for my family, this business, and my community is that Joe Biden wins the election. Please, please. However, the odds that Malcolm falls under financial hardship appear to be slim. Malcolm told a Michigan NBC affiliate in 2018 that he received a lottery-like inheritance from his wife's grandmother about a decade ago and used those funds to become the go-to guy for people seeking angel investors for tech startups in the Michigan area. Gotcha, bitch. Oh my God. Usually you become a CEO and you make money and then the money allows you to become an angel investor, Malcolm said in 2018. I happen to have different circumstances where I had the money first. The Biden campaign did not immediately return request for comment. That's awesome. Bye, DI Freighter Watcher. Have a great day. Thank you for coming to the show. Last one, Brian Stelter. Brian Stelter was mocked for calling colleague Jeffrey Toobin's masturbation scandal an accident. Well. Brian Stelter, I have questions. Brian Stelter, I have questions. Stelter omitted report that the CNN star was seen masturbating on Zoom call with New Yorker colleagues. CNN's go-to media reporter Brian Stelter has been widely criticized for not offering up the full story about his network's colleague Jeffrey Toobin, who was swept up in a Zoom masturbation scandal Monday. Vice broke the news that the New Yorker magazine had suspended Toobin, also CNN's star legal analyst, over an alleged incident that involved nudity during a Zoom call with colleagues at the magazine and members of the WNYC radio. Vice later reported that two sources said Toobin was seen masturbating on the call. Stelter, however, offered a peculiar description of the alleged self-pleasuring. Quote, Jeffrey Toobin has been sidelined on a pivotal moment in the run-up to the presidential election. The reason? He exposed himself during a Zoom call with New Yorker colleagues in what he says was an accident. Here's our full story, Stelter tweeted with a link to a CNN article about the controversy. Neither the CNN article nor Stelter's reliable sources' nightly media newsletter mentioned the fact that Toobin was accused of masturbating on the Zoom call. Critics piled on Stelter, who is widely known as the media's hall monitor. Yeah, right. He's media's Karen. FTG Brian Stelter, by the way. FTG. Oops, I've screwed that up. What the hell did I just do? No, I don't want a new tab. Get the back over here. Where's that article? Brian Stelter, right there. I wanted to go here. FTG Brian Stelter. Critics piled on Stelter, who's widely known as the media hall monitor. Dude, the only accident was he got caught. You don't accidentally start jacking off during a video chat. Daily Wire senior editor Emily Zanotti wrote, here's her. And also, Pradeep Shanker. Don't put a W in front of that. Said, this is not satire. Repeat, this is not satire. Andrew Zeisler said, will no one think of the guy who whipped out his junk during a work call, please? That poor fellow. John Daniel Davidson, imagine a news organization framing the Tubin scandal this way, saying he was sidelined for an accident, not suspended for sexual misconduct, and masturbating. Then ask yourself if you'd believe anything else that news organization reported. Anything at all. You would not and should not, because CNN sucks. Oh, yes, and CNN sucks is in the chat. Steven Crowder. I'm just laughing because this should be pretty good. Steven Crowder says, I appreciate your clarifying, quote, our full story, end quote, which tacitly acknowledges that CNN is not giving its readers the true story, namely that one of its chief legal analysts was masturbating on a live Zoom call with a woman present. Me too. He didn't say that. I did. Vice reported on Monday that the Zoom call, which was described as an election stimulation, which Tubin thought said erection stimulation, included Tubin's New Yorker colleagues Jane Myers, Masha Zagazin, Andrew Barantz, Jelani Cobb, Evan Osno, Sue Halprin, and Derek Filkins playing various roles, including President Trump, Joe Biden, establishment Republicans, establishment Democrats, and the military. Tubin was playing with himself. No, he was playing the courts. According to two sources, Tubin was seen masturbating in what was supposed to be a 10-minute strategy session. Though the report added that it seemed like Tubin was on a second video call. I want to know who was on that second video call. Excuse me, I have a issue here. No, not like a Jerry Nadler issue. I accidentally hit the button on my chair that made it go down. Pop back up. Come on, here we go. There we go. All right, now I'm back in the screen. Jesus, I'm too tall for office chairs that sink to the bottom. Anyway, oh, Brian Stelter, you have issues, brother. And on that note, we'll finish with masturbating on the Morning Night Live. Y'all, before you even think, and I mean, before you even think about clicking that button that you're about to click, make sure you press the little thumbs up arrow down there that says like next to it. And just let us know that you love me. You really love me. We're here Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 1500 GMT for people who live in other parts of the world that don't use American time zones. And please, before you go, hit the like button, share the stream out. It's down there, the arrow thing. You can share it out, whatever social media, or you can follow me on Twitter, Mindsgap, or Parler. I am very active on Twitter, and I'm going to start becoming a little more active on Parler. The other two are just for people who may have been banned from certain social media sites and need a place to get notifications. Well, I do that on Minds and Gab also. Finally, donations through YouTube Super Chat, Streamlabs in the description down below, which is at pdognight.live. Also Cash App or Venmo if you would prefer to use one of those. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you being here. I got to go. Reminder, 2:30 today. It'd be 3:30 Eastern time, 2:30 Central on Scribe Light's channel. I'll try to tweet that out as soon as Scribes sends me the link, or as soon as he posts the link. And I'll be on the TED Excellent with Scribe Light this afternoon, and then back to the show tomorrow. Y'all, everyone have a fantastic day. My name is P. Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye. No more masturbating. Hey, this is P. Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P. Dawg Knight channel.
If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comments section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.